And
Wait. You guys heard that, right? She said her fault. Mark the calendar. Mark the date you watched this. I have proof. Her fault. I'm going to use that for everything. I'm just going to cut into this.
it's completely my fault.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for coming back to another post from OurCoulture. My name is Josh.
Hi, Zee.
Hey, this is the wifey. So we're here for another post just to share some knowledge, about what her and I have experienced in our relationship. Hopefully dropping those tips with you guys because we seem to be pretty happy together. But today's topic that we want to make sure we cover is something that's big in every relationship. It's communication. We want to talk about how the do's of communicating and the don'ts of communicating. But first, we're going to touch on the don'ts, on what you should not be doing. I'm going to give you a little personal story between her and I. We're going to shift away to that in just a second. But make sure that you stay tuned in for the entire video so you can see the do's in what ways you can make a healthy relationship in terms of communication. So, what's up, fam? I want to spend this little time with you guys. I want to take some time to kind of share my thoughts on communication and how, the things that actually used to frustrate me a lot when it came to communicating with my wife. Back in the past, she used to internalize everything. If I said, hey, babe, are you going to do insert whatever it may be, something that's like, oh, take out the trash or do the dishes or, get up on time or something like that. My God, it would be something like I told her that she just, that she killed a family or something like that. She would drop and get internalized and think that she was just doing everything wrong when it's like, no, it's just your turn to do something and I'm just trying to, communicate that to you. Or whether it was, I'm trying to honestly say something that was how I'm feeling about things, and I would tell her, and it sucks when you do XYZ. And she would be like, no, we get really defensive and stuff like that. So it was a lot of not active listening and a lot of like internalizing and thinking that I was just trying to rip her apart when I never was actually trying to do that. I just want to kind of give you guys that side note as to what I thought about what was going on during our relationship and the earlier parts. We've gotten so much better, but I just wanted to share that little portion with you guys. All right, let's get back to the clip.
So, it's my turn, isn't it? It's my turn to complain about Josh's communication skills. I'm going to try and quickly bullet point it and then explain why those things bothered me. So let's start off with number one. Number one being that he would do a lot of, I'm going to give you a taste of your own medicine. And that would suck, especially when you didn't know you did something wrong, or you did something that hurt, or you didn't even know that you did something wrong, right? Number two, he didn't really know how to talk to me. You never really go into a relationship thinking, oh, I know exactly how to talk to this person. No, you're still really getting to know each other. But when you're someone who wants to lay all your cards on the table and mentions that you're an emotional and sensitive person and that who can't take harsh words well, you can feel like you're being criticized or brought down or tore down. You'll understand. And with that being said, we're going to regroup and complain together.
So, real quick, I just wanted to jump into the things that you should not do in your relationship in case, and I'm hoping that the answer is yes, you want to have a good communication between the both of you.
Yeah.
So what you should not do is don't assume that your partner knows how to talk to you. Now, a lot of people go into their relationship sometimes assuming that their partner needs to know or already knows how to talk to you. That is a big fat no. They do not. Even if they know you like the back of their hand, they still don't really know you. Stop assuming. I did that before in the beginning of our relationship. That was completely my fault. And
Wait. You guys heard that, right? She said her fault. Mark the calendar. Mark the date you watched this. I have proof. Her fault. I'm going to use that for everything. I'm just going to cut into this.
it's completely my fault.
It was my fault.
It's completely my fault.
Oh, I'm the editor of the videos, by the way, so yes. Sorry.
I know where you sleep.
Damn, this is true. Okay, never mind. I take everything back. I'm scared.
don't do that either. But yes, don't assume. I did it. It's completely my fault. Very bad communicator. I've said that before, and I've atoned for that. The other thing that I want to say is that you shouldn't internalize everything that is being said to you. And what I mean by that is more so if your partner is trying to tell you something, just more so of getting it off their chest. I feel such and such. I want to be able to such and such. It's more so this them expressing themselves. And if you try to insert your own feelings with what they're saying, you're not really listening to them. And you're going to feel like what they're saying to you is an attack. And you're going to hold on to that. And you're going to get angry or upset or sad. You have to let your partner say the things that they need to say without any consequence. If it's more so like,
so there was these 10 other women. I'm saying it to you, girl. So just... Anyways, I hurt my thumb, guys. Now it's time for what you guys been waiting for. What can you do to have a successful communicating relationship?
Dump them. No, don't do that.
Everything that we're telling you that we're doing is exactly what is actually happening. These are the things that we do on a day-to-day basis. And yeah, I think that's just something that everyone should remember. Like, the communication thing is a day-to-day thing. It doesn't change. It doesn't, hey, we communicated very well through this one argument. You're going to have about 1,000 more. And whether they're big arguments or small ones, you still want to communicate in an appropriate way to where that each person has their own way of to kind of feel through it. So...
And feel like they're their own person at the end of the day. Because when you're in a relationship, you somehow feel like you just are one. You're not. You're one unit, but you're still two separate people.
Completely.
Which you also have to be willing to change.
Yeah.
If you don't have a willingness to change, that's also going to be a bad thing. Because you might have traits or habits that are hindering the relationship from going forward. And if you're not willing to listen to your partner and take those things more of as a critique, not an attack, and as a critique to better yourself, things are not really going to get better.
Yeah.
When we were starting out, again, another example, because this is how transparent we're trying to be. In the beginning, I mostly just showed my depression because I suffer from depression. I mostly only showed my depression, my sad side, completely my fault. At one point, it kind of snapped with him, and he's like, "You're always sad, and you're always negative." And I can't take that.
Kind of blew up.
And I was like, well, damn. Well, you too then.
Yeah, but it was just one of those things that, like, I had seen her be happy with other people. I had seen her joke around and show that beautiful, amazing, funny, goofy side that you see. But then with me, it was just always the violin playing, black cloud over her head, real Eeyore type stuff. And it just kind of, like, got to me. I was like, when am I going to see that happiness? Then it started making me feel like I was the person who was causing the sadness. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I was like, yo, this can't be a relationship if the only thing you're going to show me is sadness, and friends and other people get the happiness, but you say that I make you happy. So it was very confusing. But once again, we took the time to evolve, and she understood that, okay, she felt more comfortable being that way with me because she couldn't be that way with other people. No. So she always felt she had to put on a facade. So I had to understand that aspect, but then there's a happy medium to where she had to understand, but yeah, you can't always dump and unload every single thing you're feeling at all moments, because then you're basically hiding who you are as a person, and the reason why I even fell for her. So I think that's a very, like, what you brought up is a very good point, factor into what's a good relationship and being able to change. And then just the final little nugget before we hop on to our random question of the day is make sure that you actually understand what the person is saying. Comprehension. So it's one of those things that they say communication is key, but I believe it's actually comprehension that's key. Because once you actually understand what the person is saying, and you end the way that they intend to say it to you, and that comes from years and years and years of listening and being active listening, I think that's super key. And the ways that I help myself be able to actively listen to her was I had to sometimes cut the TV off, put my phone down, things like that, to make sure that I was paying attention to what she was saying, the body language in which she was saying it, so I could understand, okay, now I need to have the appropriate reaction that's true to me, but at the same time answering what she's actually talking about, not assuming that I'm going to say something or that she's going to say something and cutting her off. So that's just kind of my final little key point. I think those are our little tips and tricks that we're using on a day-by-day basis to make sure that we're happier, that we communicate through our tougher times, through the annoying times of the day-to-day, in a relationship. You guys know who's doing the dishes, who's cleaning whose turn is it to bathe the baby, all of these different type of things.
If you have a baby.
Yeah. If you don't, then, whatever you guys take turns in doing. So hopefully that was very helpful. But you guys know, once again, you're not out of here yet. We still have to answer the random question of the day.
Random question of the daytime.
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 So the random question of the day today is, what is your favorite historic moment? Or your favorite historic day? It could be your historic day, so like your past. It could be just some day in history that you really enjoyed. So what is your favorite day? What would be your favorite day?
My favorite day by far, historic day. Like, I'm not going to choose a cliche answer and say like the day that my daughter was born, because that is the most special day to me. But the most historic day to me was like just a beautiful walk that we had in Central Park while it was iced over. It was so beautiful. Like, man, everything was just like covered in snow. We were just walking, just random. We used to go on these random walks in New York City. And so one day it was just snowing. We went there and like just had a good time. Like just random trails that we never went through and all these different things. I was trying to see if the ice was frozen, if the pond was frozen over in the ice. And I didn't get that too far. I'm too chicken. So didn't actually test it out for real. We threw rocks though. And that, proved that it was frozen, but I don't know if frozen enough for human weight. So, but no, that was like a beautiful.
I think we cracked it though.
Yeah, a little bit. Luckily we were well away from it. So, but that was one of my historic moments. I in our relationship, it was just such a perfect day. It meant the most to me, and it was just like kind of that ceiling moment of like, nah, she's worth every bit of it, and I'm going to make sure that this works out. What's yours?
So I would also have to choose something from like my past, so my history. Even though I do have a lot of historic moments, just like in general, that I love. But there's too many for me to choose, so I'll choose my past. Mine is actually the day we got married.
Ooh.
That's mine. And my explanation is because I never wanted to be married.
This is also facts.
Even on my wedding day, vocalized to the girls that were in my hotel room that I still technically didn't want to be married. But I found someone who I was willing to change my mind for. I, growing up, saw things that were going on in my family, my friend's family, and, parents and uncles, aunts. And I just didn't want that for myself. Things just looked way too shady. Everyone looked way too toxic. And I didn't want that for me. So I just said no. Years later, met him. And that kind of changed a little bit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that I'm not happy to be married. I am happy to be married. But obviously, it feels good to have someone kind of, all the things you were thinking. Don't think that.
Yeah, I'm super happy that she came around to it. It was
Took a bit.
It did, but it wasn't like I was pressuring her either. But I definitely I wanted to be married. It's something that I've always wanted, and it means something special to me. And so, yeah, got my wifey here. So that is it. Thank you guys. If you've made it all the way through, we definitely thank you so much. Make sure that you are following us. Put your comments to the random question of the day down below. Thank you once again for stopping by. We'll see you again. Peace.